Evening, everybody. Welcome back to OK Aussie.
Exposed.
Right, so the conversation that we're having is in regards to Gestalt language processing,
Yes.
GLPs.
Yeah, someone's being a smartass.
Right.
So we thought we would just talk about this thing that I actually studied psychology.
You did.
Gestalt theories.
Well, let's first of all understand.
But I cannot remember them, so except for the basics. So it's all good. Like, go for it. He's on a tangent. I'm letting him lead. I don't know where
we're just asking questions.
But I must admit, I have discovered a side of me that must have been so annoying to people when I was young.
Well, let's put some context into place, please, if I may. So first of all,
that'd be a good idea.
You have a genetic chromosomal condition called 22q11.2 deletion syndrome.
Body, conclusion.
This umbrella term of 22q creates global developmental delays, intellectual developmental delays, and as an umbrella term, it continues and combines many other sub-conditions. That's why there's 180 clinical different...
It's a spectrum.
It is. So you have, talking about spectrums, autism,
about, it's like a spectrum,
about 30 to 40% of people with 22q
we all have different dots.
will have autism. About 50 to 60% will have ADHD. So a lot of neurodivergence because it is a... Spectrum. As well, you've got OCD and you've got Tourette. So just... creating the spectrum to this.
OCD and ADHD, which they say for me is very much interlinked with my autism.
Right. So it is a neurodevelopmental condition, 22q, and so is autism and ADHD. Yeah. So understand the context.
The
reason why I'm saying these things, we're talking about GLP, Gestalt learning language processing specifically. And we're giving an example of how you learn, because you also had some other significant things. So apart from the global developmental delays,
being in special ed,
which then steps into intellectual developmental delays, you and your schooling, you're obviously in special education.
Do preschool because I was not ready, but yes.
Right. So you
primary school.
You presented to preschool, but they sent you home.
Permanently.
It's like, no, you need to come back later on. You need to grow, both in height.
She needs to grow up.
In stature, but also in maturity, capabilities, and competencies.
I was like a baby.
Right. So what I'm talking about, because primarily autism is the main part of the language difficulties, you've got auditory processing, you have your executive functioning that goes with all of this. But in language, you had a lot of other things with your learning difficulties. You had the dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia.
Yeah, correct.
But specifically...
flipping numbers, flipping letters, guys, if you want to know, like, what happens.
Yeah, things flip around. Absolutely. Your brain was going all which ways, wasn't it? So I wanted to know a bit more about how you learn. So we were talking about with analytical language learning and the Gestalt language processing, the two different styles. In analytical, where most of the normal population, I learned different. They would learn the first word. They'd learn, oh, this is a cat. C-A-T spells cat. And then we'd build upon that. We'd say, well, that's a black cat. That's a big cat. That's a type of cat. It's a mama cat.
Chase, and I've got a whole story about the cat, but they didn't appreciate that.
So in your special education and learning, when they talk...
just in my way of thinking, you know.
When they talk...
But the special education teachers.
Okay. So let's try and get through this.
Sorry, guys. It's all me. It's all the tism.
It's all you.
Blame the tism.
So let's slow it down, if I may. Part of you're very trying. Part of this is that you also have echolalia. That's also probably one of the first sort of stages in Gestalt language learning.
Don't say that.
And correct.
She's going to keep saying it all week.
We know this historically because your family would refer to you as parroting.
Yes.
Okay. And yes, they had warnings. Don't repeat things around Dyan that they don't want to have other people told. Okay, so that part of things is there.
Well, I felt like I was a talking person. It felt great.
Sure. So you've got the
I thought I was mastering
roots of the Gestalt coming through with the basics of echolalia, you were learning in chunks. So you were taken away to the small cupboard, under the stairs, a bit like Harry Potter.
I liked the cupboard. It was very
This is
sensory
just-
depriving, and I needed it to
that's
focus.
very good to be able to focus. If
Well,
you could
if I
take
was
all your other
looking out the
senses.
window, it's like, oh, bird. Where's the bird going?
Okay.
Where's the bird going?
Come back here with the bird,
Oh,
please.
this is one of those birds that gets all the sticks for the nest.
And here we go. So
Anyway.
we're having the conversation about learning the word. For example, in this case, cat. Now, with your special education
Well, see,
teachers,
now I'm still stuck on the nest.
okay,
And how my mum and I had conversations because I'd say, how did they make the nest?
okay,
Anyway,
let's come back to the cat.
there's many things.
They
in the
brought
nest,
up the
guys,
cat
not
because
sticks.
they were trying to. I don't know how they did teach you because you're so over the shop. Focus, honey. They were trying to focus in teaching you the 3 letters. C-A-T spells the word cat. But
Which to me was totally unnecessary compared to the stories about the cat.
right, so you're more interested about the stories of the cat.
That's the main point of life.
Right. So how did it when they bring
Why
up
spelling cat is such a big deal?
right? But for them and in the
they're
discussion,
like, it's a big deal.
what do they ask you?
Not.
I'm doing this so you can focus
Yeah, right.
over here.
Haven't had that before.
Focusing now.
Never.
Okay.
Been,
Yeah.
are you listening?
Focusing.
Oh, sorry.
Coming back to the cat and them teaching you about the cat, they would have asked you some questions. What did they ask you, perhaps pertaining to yourself, about the cat?
They would say, do you have a cat?
Do you have a cat?
I
And
do
because
that.
you're selective mute, all the way through to 11 years of age.
And then they'd say, what colour is your cat?
What colour is your cat? Okay, black is so that's that hot, really quiet voice. What? What? Okay, we've got black and white. Then we've got the colour. What else did they ask you, or what else did you offer up in regards to the cat?
Baby.
Your cat had babies. Okay.
He is a girl.
Okay, that would have really confused the whole lesson right then. What do you mean he is a
She
girl?
stopped there. She just went, right, I want you to write the name cat, C-A-T.
Okay.
So follow the dots. And I'm like, we were just having a great conversation. You just totally ruined it.
Could you focus on
Damn
drawing?
teachers.
Could you focus in on writing the
It was
CAT?
hard because I'm picturing
What's-
my kittens that my cat had.
Right, so your brain is focusing around what's
Yep.
been sparked, and that's the
They
conversation of the.
climbed the Christmas tree, and
Right.
the Christmas tree would just go as we
Okay.
were watching TV, and I'd laugh, and Mum would go, sort your babies out. I'd go get them all, put the Christmas tree back up, tidy it up, and they'd do it again.
Right, so this is also a good example of another component that you
Kittens.
have, which also ties into the GLP, the Gestalt language processing, which is your episodic memory.
But everyone likes my stories.
Okay,
I
so
think.
people like your stories, you think.
I don't
But-
know actually. You know what? I'm able to take feedback.
Are
my
you?
stories good or bad?
So you're asking our community now. So in the comments below, if you enjoy Dyan's
Because I'm in
stories,
my own head.
please let us know.
Am I really connecting or am I just in my own head still?
Right, but this is what I'm talking about
That's
now that I'm
sad.
bringing up the
That's really sad.
now that I'm bringing up the episodic
If I'm
memory.
still here and not
Hello,
in the world.
I'm doing this over here again. We're
Sorry.
focusing. So the conversation now is focusing on episodic memory. Again, another contingent or part that can be seen with the Gestalt language processing components. What do you, because I see
Yeah,
this
it's
very
bad for
intensely
me,
in you.
isn't it? I think I've got a problem now.
Okay, so analyze
Maybe
that.
I need to go to therapy for this.
Dunning, you went to university to study
No,
psychology
I mean
so you
like
could
to
study.
speak to an autism person, get my speech involved and go, this is happening. I've just discovered it. Help.
Okay, so what does it mean to you? So let's go through that right now.
Wilson!
Okay, so there's your echolalia.
Wilson!
Where does that come through?
Wilson!
Another TV show. Another part of the Gestalt language processing is quite commonly bringing in
Wilson!
stories of scripts, short scripts that you would have learnt, such as from TV and in life. That was an example just then of you
Tom
pulling
Hanks.
Tom Hanks from the movie Wilson being the name
He's
of the
lost
volley
on an
boy.
island.
He's lost. He's cast
And
away
his
on an island.
best friend was the volleyball Wilson.
Okay, but do you also see then? These are the chunks, these are the elements, these are the aspects of the
This is
Gestalt
the fucked
learning
upness
theory.
of me that gets in the way of me fitting into the world.
Right, but do you see how you're different from the analytical learning style that is more common in our schooling
And
environment?
what do those people do?
Well, for example, if we go back to the cat, they'll start teaching, first of all, not only the individual letters of the alphabet, they'll then look at the blending and say, look, we're going to talk about cat today, C-A-T is cat. Once you've got cat down, and we've repetitively said the word cat, you've written C,
bored.
the curly C with the A and the T, and then they'll expand upon that. They'll go maybe a colour,
Cats are
white
so
cat,
cute.
small cat, mama cat. They'll then add to that. But you've worked more
Kittens,
so around
mama
your
cats, papa cats.
episodic memories of stories around cats on the
So
Christmas tree
distracting.
and all the other things.
So
Your
distracting.
cat being a boy but having babies, so it's not a he, she's a,
They
he's
got
a
it
she.
wrong.
Right, so you had those sort of things.
It was a bit of a shock.
And during these distractions, you also then have these little scripts that come through. Did you have any scripts perhaps at the time maybe around from TV shows about cats that you could also pull upon? Maybe it would have been Garfield or Top Cat or other sort of shows.
I just remember like my high school friends thinking, oh my God, she's hilarious. Because I'd be like, Wilma! To one of them across, like say, they've already got to school, they've gone to the form room, and I'm coming down because where we had to come from our suburb, we had to come down the big corridor from the office. So we'd always call out to each other, and of course I'd just always say something different to others.
Do you
so I
see
wouldn't
how-
say, hi, Michelle, hi, so-and-so. I would just, like Tina or whatever. I'd be like, Wilma!
Okay, so first of all,
And they would
very,
just be like,
very performative, very dramatic. Do you also see the very detailed response?
well, they'd hear my voice.
Do you see the very detailed response in that little chunk of memory, that episodic thing that you just brought out in that story? Okay, so first of all, there's two things. First of all, TV scripting and
Flintstone
echolalia, and see the association.
It was the nickname of
See,
my
but this is
family
how
that
the-
gave it to me.
Bingo. So this is
And
how
I
this.
agreed.
This is how the Gestalt
If
language
you see
theory
my
works.
feet in the photos, it's Flintstone feet.
Right, but you've got chunk associations
right.
going on. You've gone Wilma. You've got that associated to Flintstones. You've got feet which are flat or little fatty toes. They come from the Flintstones.
Yeah.
You're using an extract from a TV show, which is the Flintstones,
This
causing
is
Wilma.
normal.
In whose world?
Mine. No one cares about anyone else's world.
Okay, so
No,
this.
but they don't. Like, think about it. Why are autistics picked on? Everyone that's neurotypical gets to just live their best life.
Right, but this is how
But
your
me-
brain operates, right?
I have to be picked apart because my brain's different.
But I'm not picking apart, am I?
No, I know. I know
We're
you're
having a
not.
conversation
I know you're
and
not.
showing how the
And I know
interconnection.
you guys aren't.
And
I mean, I'm sure.
you're
some are.
also, again, because your channel is about educating and advocating,
It's all about
informing.
autism. Well, not all of it.
Not
you
all,
know,
but one
a
major
lot of
part
it is
about
about
this.
autism.
And for you, a person who is challenged. Now, remembering you were selective immune until 11. You
Yeah.
came out of high school with only a primary school grade.
Year
You didn't get
7
to finish
level.
year 12. You
Yeah.
went on to learn individually because you had a person in your family
Determination.
who was able to assist you, to able to find
was
you
a very
how you
determined
learned. You're
person.
very determined.
Because the questions I asked,
Mm-hmm.
some of these like TAFE lecturers originally,
Correct,
but
because you went on to
mainly my
college
uni
and then
lecturers,
university. Yeah.
I think they looked at me like, she's not going to make it.
Right, but and yet,
And I'd look at them and go, I know you think I'm stupid.
but you went to the dean's
I'm gonna
office,
do it.
not in trouble with the dean, but to be
I thought I was.
awarded for
I was like-
highest grades in assignments and highest grades in exams. You were acing university because you'd learned in a different way. You also were able to accomplish some of the
I was very scared of
intense
them.
puzzles that have been presented to the cohort of students that no one in that year group and many year groups could ever
You know what
answer.
everyone said?
What?
Her?
Yeah, you. You answered
I
it.
said-
You found out how to do it.
Even I actually said that. Me?
You doubted yourself.
Are you
Right.
sure?
So this is the girl who,
There's
when we're
no
talking
Dylan in
about...
the class. Is there a Dylan in the class and you missed the L?
No, it's Dyan.
No? Okay.
So when we come back to cat,
I didn't believe
C-A-T.
them either. I'm like, don't you know I'm stupid? in maths.
But look
But
how
statistics,
that's
not so much.
look how that's held you back though, and the labelling that goes with that, and that happens with a lot of autistics because
My mum accused me of like, there's no way you know that memory. Someone's told you all that information, and I'm like,
what's your first
Mum,
memory?
this is 10 memories
So
now.
now we're talking about
How could
the
this
very
be
didactic
possible?
memory, the very episodic.
What
deep,
memories?
When was your first earliest memories?
My first memory, which is the one they really don't believe, was when I was 1+.
Okay.
And I remember we were in our Callaroo house.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that my mum and dad built together.
Right.
And it was beautiful. Like, my dad is very OCD.
Right.
And Nana and Pa were visiting, and they were leaving.
Right.
And I went to run from the front yard. We had this little bridge across the garden.
Right.
I remember running across this bridge.
Yeah.
Which doesn't feel good on the feet. On the grass, to say another hug and goodbye to my Nana and Pa because they were so special. But halfway on the grass, my brother jumped on my back.
Rugby tackled you to the ground, so...
And I remember pushing him off and
he's
getting
2 years
really
older.
frustrated. He's 2 years
holding
older.
You down because...
And he's holding me down and he's like, I said, I know that he was upset and angry. Why was he angry? And my Nana filled in the other bit. She said, oh, yes, I remember that day.
Right.
He was telling your mum and dad off and not looking after you. It was really quite funny.
It was quite funny. Right.
Think about that
now. Think about that. Now, for the moment, hold your breath for 10 seconds.
Think about that.
Hold your breath for 10 seconds.
Thanks, bro.
Hold your breath for 10 seconds.
Respect.
What I want you to think about is the detail in that memory.
She could get hit by a car.
Dyan, hold your breath for 10 seconds and shush. I know it's impossible, but I want you now to refocus. In that little excerpt of that memory, no, not hiding away.
I'm not hiding.
The little excerpt, you were remembering the sensory input of your feet going across the surface of the bridge, the feel of the grass, the beautiful nature of the environment. But see, it also ties into, and this is the thing, emotional memories. And this is the thing about the Gestalt language processing. A lot of these chunks are associated to emotional memories.
I love my Nana and Pa. It's like
Very
I wanted
good.
to hug,
Exactly.
another hug.
So anyway, today's conversation is
Obviously
about
wanted more
your
lipstick on my
learning style. And again, there you go. More memories.
Nana's lipstick.
More
Oh, Nana's
memories.
got you again.
Right.
Nana's washed it off. Oh, gosh, Nana. She keeps doing it, doesn't she?
It does stick on, doesn't it? Yes.
Red
So,
lipstick.
do you understand how we just broke about the differences in your learning style? Why it's called
And Nana
the
used to
Gestalt
bring me
language
flowers.
processing.
And I'm
The
allergic to
use
flowers.
of your episodic memory, which
And
is
I'm too
very,
nice.
very intense. Emotional memories, which is carried with that. But then also things like your echolalia, the parroting components that go with it all, and how you learn in chunks.
That's how my
and the
family
interconnection.
operated luckily anyway, because everything's etiquette, right? So all you have to do is do the scripts of what they teach you. My family act like the royal family. And you're fine.
Now, there's one chunk, because obviously now you're 51
But I'm
years.
just saying, when my Nana came to my house, she used to bring me flowers, so pretty, so nice, such her, era. But I was allergic to them.
But,
And my cats were too, most of them.
yes.
And I didn't want to say so because it will hurt her
Well,
feelings.
it's manners you want to make.
Because I love
You
my
appreciate the gesture
Nana.
of
So I really
receiving.
didn't want to hurt her feelings, but she kept doing it.
Okay.
Because I didn't say anything.
But she didn't say anything. So, of course, she's going to keep doing that.
It was such a tricky
You see the loop?
Anyway, keep going.
Okay. So, at 51 years of age, we're not trying to change your language or your learning.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a problem, isn't it?
But it's...
Like, when I really think about it now,
which parts
apart
of the problem?
from my channel, which is great for you guys because I know that you guys always get a chuckle out of this.
I think a lot of
stuff
people
I've
are
done.
going to get a chuckle.
My children and grandchildren get to see this one day.
But they're going to get a chuckle out of all of these really, really...
But my memory
is
tense. Obviously strange.
Well, it's not strange, but
I remember even
it's
my
didactic.
first day
You've got such
calisthenics.
Right, tell us about that.
I remember sitting in the
Calisthenics
car,
is a dance form.
and I was looking
Australian
at my friend
dance form.
because she was like, I'd eaten my breakfast.
Yeah.
But of course, with my AFID, it's just difficult. So, and then when I looked at her toast, and I was like, that's what Nana gives me. Nana gives me jam toast. And I'm looking at her toast.
Avoidant and restricted
really
food
envious of her
intake.
toast.
Fruit, yeah.
And I remember saying to her, nail polish, you know.
Right.
I remember saying that to her, and that was all. And she's talking to me like I'm a baby. She's only 1 year older than me, but I was just so immature. Okay, like I'm 3, but really I'm
Global
probably
developmental
like,
delays,
I'm a 1-year-old
intellectual
running
developmental
around
delays,
and
selective
didn't
mute,
talk.
genetic chromosomal
Anyway,
condition. Yes.
calisthenics doesn't require talking.
No. So isn't that interesting that
So
you
I
can
just walked
enjoy
into class,
dance?
looked at what they were doing because I'm used to copying,
Right.
and just went into the splits.
Right. And
I remember twirling in my blue skirt and
Mm-hmm.
twirled around because it used to flare out, and I used to be
And
like,
would you say-
pretty scared?
now, see, that's also an interesting extract when we talk about learning. I would say
And
you're
I go
very,
round and round and round and round.
you're a very visual learner,
Yes.
and that's a different way of learning.
And they show me pretty hands and pretty feet.
Okay. Right. So you were shown how to dance
Pretty feet.
and stretching your toes at 3 years of age,
Correct.
and you also had success there.
Uh-huh.
What was the success?
They said something about, because all the other girls are going, as if like it was so
Okay,
hard
so
or something.
dramatic, yep.
And I thought,
Painful,
what's wrong with them?
right?
I think they're not doing it right.
Okay.
So that's what I'm thinking in my head, guys. Because
Okay.
I'm just not understanding their struggle.
Yeah.
But
And what were they
the
struggling doing?
The two teachers ran to me and were like clapping, and I'm thinking, wow, I don't get this much attention.
Okay.
What's going on?
Yeah.
And they pointed to me, and they're looking at my mum. They're going, she has to come back.
Right, because
And when I look back now,
what were you doing at the time?
I was in the splits with my hands up,
Right.
and everything was perfect.
So you were flat in your splits where all the
Flat
other
in my
children, the other
splits,
girls were
pointed
struggling
toes,
because
Pretty hands.
You've
and
got
I
a
was smiling
hypermobility
because I was
condition
so
called
excited
Ehlers-Danlos.
because I actually got something right.
Right, and it's a positive reward.
Probably the first thing I did right
And-
in my whole life, actually.
But think of it as a positive memory, and your
'Cause
reward
my
system
brother,
is
like,
engaged.
the
Hold on,
same-
stop. Your reward system is engaged.
Yeah.
You've got a positive memory.
Mhm.
Your memories are intensified around emotions. So it's a
Yeah.
positive emotional thing. And that's why it's very easy from a didactic or episodic memory state, hyper episodic memory state, to recall in such detail. You probably remember what the colour of the dresses were. You probably remember the room. You
Yes.
probably remember the
Yeah,
smells.
because I saw the girls with the pink ones. I was like,
Because it'd be pink.
there's a pink one. Why haven't I got it?
Okay, pink dress. Need one of
But
those
that house,
at 3 years of age.
my brother got a big scar that's still permanent. It's my fault. Even though
Okay.
it's not my fault, but it's my fault.
Right.
We're playing chasey.
Right.
We're going around.
Yep.
The house.
Around the house,
And
playing
we're going
chasey.
through the front
At what
door.
age?
I don't know.
Estimate. Go.
I mean, I would have had to have been 3 or under. at
Okay,
that
3 or
age.
under. Right, no rest.
So, you know, and he hit his head on the front doorknob
The doorknob.
and it bled really badly
Okay. It
And-
was your fault because
because we were playing chasey together. So I took the
you're
blame.
playing together.
And my mum
Okay.
told me off.
Right, you got
Because
told off.
obviously it was my fault
He's
somehow.
2
because
years
he's
older.
Injured, I'm not injured.
Okay, but he's 2 years older.
But that's just my mum.
Okay, but
That's
it's
how
just
she
your mum.
is.
It's your fault. Okay.
That's just how she
But
is.
what do you remember about that the most? Because again, here is another emotional
Because he had a
memory.
permanent scar, and every time I looked at him all his life in the future,
You
I
remembered.
look at that scar and I feel very sad.
Okay, and it's a probably good learning curve is don't run in houses. Watch out for
Yes.
door handles.
Yes.
But you remember that moment because you see
And when
a
he
visual
painted the walls
reminder.
with his hands, white paint on the walls.
Okay, another memory.
I walked into the room and I went, Amma.
That's a very Australian saying when you're in trouble. Amma.
And
How
that
old
was
were you
an
then?
Ecolalia thing because
How
my
old were
brother
you?
would say it. a
How
lot.
old were you then?
Well, my brother would have been 3, so I would have been 1.
You're 1. How do you remember this?
I do. They don't believe me, but I do. I said, I'm the one that opened the door.
Yep.
And I remember saying, Amma, because it was a copy thing of
Of
my
the
brother.
echolalia, the parroting.
And
He's
he
painting
was
the
doing
walls
this
with
on
his
the
hands,
wall with his
helping
hands.
the parents paint.
And
not,
my mum
not
comes
authorised
behind
painting.
me because I was like, oh, there's a shadow coming.
The shadow
now,
of doom.
I'm tiny. That's
It's
why
Voldemort.
she seems big. My mum's tiny like me.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, I just felt this wrath.
Okay,
coming.
but do you see these
This
intensities of
rat
feelings?
coming.
Again,
I was
tied
like,
into
"Oh,
emotions.
I'm not involved.
Okay, there's negativity,
I've got no paint
there's stress,
on me.
there's a high
There's
emotions.
no paint on me.
This is where
Clean.
these episodic memories tied into emotions are
didn't
highly
delete it.
intense.
Didn't even tell him to do it.
You could probably remember
'Cause
the
that sometimes
smells of the
happened.
fresh paint. You could probably remember the colour of the
You do
fresh
it.
paint. You can remember the house, what people were wearing.
Yeah, it was
all
white.
these things. Okay, so there's a
Because my
lot of...
dad was meant to do it, and I remember when my dad got home, my mum was saying at dinner, "Well, if you had painted the room, it wouldn't have happened."
Very true. Now,
Well, I don't know. Like, it all just sounds like rubbish.
things that you remember.
But yeah,
I'm one of the things I'm going to
I said bitch
ask
at the
on
table.
the... Okay, can I pause right? I'm going to ask the people on the channel if they can
I-
remember
Or-
what was the youngest
Four.
age that you remember, for those who are on our channel, our followers, that you can remember vivid memories like Dyan is actually expressing. She's given us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different memories.
What about the time when I was
Oh my
4
God, there's
and I
more.
said bitch at the table?
Honey, another strong
said,
response,
Well,
emotional
we were
response.
eating lunch and everything was nice and quiet. This is in Denmark,
Right.
in Scottsdale. This is when we were building our house.
Okay, and for the people at home, just
Okay, so
write
this
down
is
your
the
age in the
old
comments of your
house in
earliest memory.
Denmark.
Yep.
And sorry, this isn't my earliest memory, but it's just a
No,
memory.
I'm just asking the people
But
at
anyway,
home
I
to
love
do
this
that.
house because every time we drove home with
Sure.
Dad in
Right.
the four-wheel drive,
Yeah.
it was like snakies. Do snakies, Dad.
Right.
And it would make marks, like snake marks on the gravel road.
Right.
Anyway, we would eventually get home. Anyway, the four of us are having lunch. Mum,
Country
my
driving,
brother,
okay.
my mum,
Mhm.
my dad.
Out to the farm,
And
yep.
I just said, "What's bitch?"
Okay.
And my mum and dad's jaws just went, I remember they looked like
And who said that in
really
front
shocked.
of
And
Di?
I'm just like, I do. You know, like I'm just sitting there thinking, I didn't do anything wrong.
But you're echoing. You've heard something which you're
and they
now
said,
repeating.
where did you hear that from?
Yeah, where did you hear that from?
Windy.
Oh no, your
They're
neighbour.
like, it's Wendy.
It's not windy, it's Wendy.
Windy. They said, no. I said, the wind. Windy. There's only one, like, in my head, guys, there's only one word called windy.
Yeah.
Why would you say Wendy?
Because her name was Wendy.
When there's a one word for when the wind is blowing and it's windy.
That's Windy, but her name
So
is
she's
Wendy.
windy.
Right. So you can see where all our language and
Sounds
learning.
bad in the tummy for adults. And she kind of... Anyway, she has colitis.
She's got colitis.
Oh, the poor girl.
And so the correlation.
I'm sorry, Wendy. She's like my blood. She's like my cousin. Our
Well,
family.
she's like a sister, really, at the end of the
Yeah,
day, isn't
the
she?
Proctors were
A
a
year
big deal.
difference.
Beautiful family.
She was adopted as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, you know, she's a super cool chick. And she was like family. And basically, she always took me under her wing, looked after me. I cannot thank her enough.
In the country.
But
You
the
needed
thing
that.
is, I called her Windy.
Okay.
Because I just didn't think...
You
with
didn't have the language
word
skills
windy
back
for
then.
when it's windy because,
Right.
you know, you live in the country and it's,
Yeah.
you know, it was pretty windy down in Denmark.
Okay. So, the point of this conversation was at the very beginning to talk about Gestalt language processing. We've talked about
a problem.
we've talked about the analytical language. We've talked about echolalia and how it comes into play.
But
Learning
I have a problem,
in
don't
chunks.
I?
I think there's this thing with your
What do I do with
episodic
this?
memory.
How do I use
It's
this to my
intense.
advantage?
Well, you already are.
And how
Do you know
do
why?
I use it
As a natural
if
storyteller.
it's getting in the way of my life?
Okay, but there's two parts to it. First of all, your strengths. You're using it as part of your
Because
sharing.
my doctor doesn't want to hear all
Sweetie.
the stories. So that's
Right.
not really helpful in certain settings, you see.
Okay, so
this
let's talk
is
about
a
that.
problem.
And that's what I'm trying to talk about. If I can talk.
So sometimes it's a positive.
First of all, the positive is you're using it as part of your delivery for stories on your video channel. And I'm sure people will
To
enjoy
you
that.
guys, I
But
hope you do.
you've highlighted a point of where
I'm
you
feeling very
struggle,
exposed.
but you
Yes.
pointed a point of
It's
struggle
problematic
as
in
an
certain
autistic, and
scenarios.
particularly as an adult, particularly tied into things like your ADHD and OCD, where you
Some
suddenly
people don't need to know that information.
you go off on tangents.
Whoops.
You get distracted.
I'm such a
And that triggers
annoying
other
person.
memories of episodic memories.
really
and you
annoying,
want to
right?
share. Now,
So I'm
sometimes,
really annoying, right?
well, that could be a difficult way
Look,
of
you don't need to
engaging.
sugarcoat it with me. I'm autistic. I'm really annoying, right?
Sometimes you can be because
Right.
you're not on point. You're not
I
on
do
task.
need
You're
to
not
fix
able to
this
focus.
then. I do
Right.
need to fix this.
What would help you, do you think?
No fucking clue.
Okay. Now,
This is like asking a doctor to fix themselves. You can't. This is like asking, a chiropractor to do their own back.
so if I may.
I am a psychology person. I can do it for others. I cannot do it for myself.
So this is about being in the moment. Can you stay in the moment?
No, because I've got too many good stories. I mean, I've had a good life.
Okay.
In a lot of ways too.
So,
and
hold
I've
on.
got
This
lots
is the
of
problem.
stories.
I know.
Fun stuff.
So this is part of your thing. You keep spilling out. It keeps going. And that's something which will obviously impact on you having conversation.
So how much of this is ADHD and how much of this is this? Because we're about to go back to the psychiatrist to discuss the ADHD being uncontrollable. But what if there's another thing coming into which is autism?
And I think it's actually more of the autism and the language styles of the Gestalt language processing components for you.
So
with
when I
episodic
talk back and
memories.
forth to people online, I apologise. Not probably you guys, but like people in my life, I've probably annoyed the shit out of you.
So
not intentional.
Your challenge, and look, people have
God.
made comments about some of the ADHD factors. Now that's things like turn taking, talking over each other.
I'm shocking.
Being able to focus.
I'm an asshole.
No, it's not being an asshole, but it's
I am.
It's your disability. It's
I don't like
just
it.
as much as your Tourette's.
I don't like
just
it.
as much as your dystonia or your seizures. These are things that you can't control.
Yeah.
So my question is, you've identified that it's causing you problems, that it becomes something which takes away from the conversation.
Dog new tricks.
Or can we?
Maybe.
Okay.
Some.
So if you're with somebody, a bit like your cards. So here's one example.
My emotions card?
No, your coloured cards, your yellow card, red card.
Yes.
You can have, if you've got someone assisting you in conversations, for example.
They use it on me?
They could use it in front of you to flag, hey, you're deviating off theme. Would that help you?
Okay. Yes, it would.
Does that make sense? And would that help you to pull yourself up and go, oh, okay, I've just seen the yellow card. Maybe that's a warning that I've gone off task, off tangent, off the path.
I'm in.
How can you do that, though, if someone's not there for you? Can you look at the facial features of someone or the body language? Because I don't think you can with alexithymia.
No.
Alexithymia means you don't understand your own internal states or the facial features of others.
My vulnerabilities are I don't notice when I'm being irritating to someone. I don't notice when someone wants to end a conversation.
So,
I don't
as an
notice
example,
when
if the doctor stands up, what does that mean?
Well, I just think... Like,
what does it mean?
Is he going to get something?
Okay. No, he means that you now need to leave now. We're over
but
the appointment.
Sometimes he does go and get something from the other side of the room or something.
Okay.
Sometimes it happens. So it's not 100%. There's exceptions to the rule. But yes, like
sure, there's always exceptions to the rules.
It still makes me go, what are you doing?
Okay.
Oh.
So when he...
Let's go.
Before he does that...
Stand up.
Before he does that, he'll do...
It doesn't make sense.
He does give you other cues, though, but you don't... You miss those. For example, Okay, so for example, he'll move his position forward on the seat to change his weight of his body, and he will actually move forward as if he's getting ready.
Get the fuck out.
He might also use certain words of, in our next appointment, we'll do this, or I'll do these actions. So he's telling you some things that are
That makes no sense to me.
Bingo.
It never will.
Okay, and that's the part of the struggle here.
Like he should really say,
Dyan,
like bringing in
it's
a plane.
the end of the appointment.
No, let's think about bringing in a plane, right?
Okay.
What he could do is he could say, right, so to finalise this appointment, we've done this, we're going to do this.
Yeah, and in our next appointment.
And in our next appointment we'll do this. So have
this
a great
brings
day.
to conclusion.
I'll catch you later.
So he has to have the onus of doing all these other steps for you.
Yes, he does.
Okay. Okay. How does that work in the wild with other people?
Because that is what I believe is the meeting in the middle.
Right. So these are the accommodations for being autistic.
I believe autism must be met in the middle. And when you are suffering from classic autism, we don't have the capacity to keep learning as far enough as some others. And when it's not enough,
Yep.
there is a significant life experience difference.
Interestingly, he poses another problem in this quandary.
He's autistic.
He's autistic, ADHD, OCD like you. So both of you
and
together are a communication
we share
nightmare.
a lot of special interests.
Yes, you do.
So I distract him and he distracts me.
You both do on your little tangents of
and
your
then
stories
we
of
blame each
episodic
other for
memories.
that. So it's
Right.
kind of like we're both as bad. Like
Right.
he's the male version of me.
Yes. So
But
what?
except he gets to be a bit more blunt
And-
because I have to do the feminine stuff.
And he'll
how
do
you
the
get
masculine.
taught with ABA.
Yep.
Is you're a lady and this is how you ladies do things.
Sure.
Whereas a man can be like, that's just bullshit. Let's move on. Whereas I have to say, well, I would like to agree to disagree, and maybe we should now move on to the next topic.
Right. So in the case
So
of you,
it's
thank
really
you. So for the
frustrating.
case of you and your doctor, what actually does work is the fact that I'm there because I have to actually corral the two of you to move forward on task. Keep to the actual.
That's not a good situation.
No, it's
is
not.
It?
But this is part of the problem, and this is what we've worked out. Now, coming back to.
My doctor needs to step up.
Okay. Now,
Step
we
up,
can't
Doc.
expect everybody
Okay,
else in
'cause
the world
I-
to change for us.
I try
So we
my
have to
best.
take ownership and self-awareness.
Yes, we
Now,
do.
in cases where you can't, and it's an over-stimulatory environment, I'm there to help prompt you, and I could perhaps use the yellow card situation. In the
But
past,
what
though...
if you're not right?
Okay.
See, this is
I love it.
this
Okay.
this is a social experiment here.
Yeah.
I agree with being prompted.
Right.
But it's difficult being autism in the middle.
It is.
I do know some theories.
You do.
I don't know them naturally
You're
like
terrible at body
others
language.
neurotypicals do.
Yep.
Okay.
Literalness
other
goes right over your
neurotypicals,
head.
As if I am one.
Yep.
I pretend in my head.
Yeah. And
But
essentially overloads,
basically,
you get
when
distracted.
you're in the middle,
Yep.
you see that something's not right, but you don't know what it is.
Right.
And you have to ask others, what's going on right
Sure.
now? Because something's going on. But the problem is,
Yeah.
sometimes the person you ask might be wrong or right.
Right. Now, two components to that. Normally, we use...
What if you're wrong?
We use social
Or the other
stories
person's wrong.
after the effect to
Yes.
help us break down the situation,
Correct. That does
talk
help.
about it in chunks, and work out what we could have
Yeah.
or should have done differently for
Because
the future.
I have to learn
But
how others communicate.
that doesn't help
and then
you
I can
in
alter
real
my
time.
communication.
Now,
No, but that's what I'm saying. If I work out everybody's style of communication, which
Yep.
is what my job is to do,
Sure.
unfortunately, I've had to do this my whole life,
but,
then I have to alter
but,
my way of being because of my autism
right.
so that I can match them.
How's that going for
Because
you?
they don't match me. They will never come to
But,
my
honey,
level.
that doesn't work.
Well, I can only do that because I can only be the best me at
100%.
communicating.
And I think,
that
first of
can.
all, the acknowledgement is you can't not be
It's
autistic.
exhausting
You
studying
can't
them
turn off your
to work
disabilities,
that out.
language processing, auditory processing,
I'm
communication.
Sorry, I can't.
So you are. So there's got to be an acceptance. So
I'm
just
trying to learn.
just like at the hospital, I've put processes in place where we've now got information on file, so that they know your communication style and they can assist you better, and it's all been
Yes.
outlined. That's a big step, and now a big acknowledgement to have that in all clinics, EDs, inpatient scenarios.
Except they say a lot of things that are like, yeah, that's not true. And I just tolerate it to be nice.
You do, and sometimes you have to suck it in and tolerate it. But if I may keep going on my...
Well, the good doctor says this on the TV show. He says, you know, they are wrong, but I just agree with them because I just can't be bothered fighting.
Correct, and sometimes you have to be the bigger better person to do that. Now, you were asking about in real world...
Not fighting, actually.
In the real world situations, one of our challenges is, and look...
But disagreeing.
Okay, refocusing. In conversations...
Most ways are very big difference.
How do we help you keep on task? Now, some of these things you found very difficult, and we have tried different solutions, and some things annoy you. So, for example,
Yes.
I've done some subtleties of sometimes giving you a look, or tapping your leg to
Yeah,
try and do
I
it,
get
which
really
is
angry.
non-observant
I know,
behavior.
I don't like it.
But it's non-observant
I don't
behavior
like
which
it.
other people can't see, because the
I need
idea
other
behind
people
that
to
is so
see.
that you're not embarrassed,
No, I
but
need
you're
other people to see.
frustrated with that
I need other
approach.
people to see because
Yeah.
you might be wrong.
Okay. So what do we do about that instead? Is sometimes
But it has to be safe people.
we'll interrupt and go, look, Dyan might not be understanding what you're saying.
No, it needs to be safe people. So I think we need to use the card system and tell them the card system. And so it can be a joint education
I also wonder too,
with the safe people.
yeah, I also wonder too, and I've been thinking about this lately, about having a stopwatch or a clock for you so you can see the time, because
No, I can't function like that.
no, and that's my concern about it. I'm only putting
Because
this out
then
as
I
a
just
suggestion.
go back to the non-verbal. I just go from...
Right. But the reason why I suggested this as a
And
suggestion...
the memories just get enjoyed in here.
Right. And why was I giving this as a suggestion though? What was it to try and help you do?
To alter my behaviour. Like...
To be aware of time of maybe a meeting or engagement, or how long you're on task.
But what happened to giving me extended time for my disability?
No, that's
too?
fine. No, in hospitals, exactly. So let's re-clarify. In hospitals and other engagements, you need extended time to allow
I guess
for
because
communication.
I don't really care how they need it to be.
Right.
Because
But what
they don't care how I need it to be. So who wins?
Okay. I don't disagree with you. And that's why this is a really great
Who
conversation.
wins?
But
Like,
what if
is
the
it
person...
really fair?
No, it's not. But I'm going to also have to say, the person's got a schedule. They've got other meetings to go to. They've got to get through a list on an agenda.
Neglect.
I don't disagree with you. And you can see the quandary and you can see the distress. It's frustrating.
An injustice.
Okay, so it is an injustice. It's difficult to get around, but this is part of the problem, isn't it, of the condition? Do you see a solution?
That's why I have my guardians do everything.
Right, but then does that mean you... And we've had to do that because sometimes
And I
time
only
poor...
step in when I think it's needed.
Okay. And we want you to have your voice because you should be
Yes,
able to have your
You
voice.
are speaking my voice.
but
you're
other
just speaking
people
it for me because
don't-
they don't want to listen to it,
No,
me speaking
or
it
they don't
because
wanna-
they take forever.
And that's right. And
I'm
I
exhausting.
can be concise
I
and
hand
get...
up to that.
I can
I'm
use the
exhausting.
language that they need to hear, because sometimes it's medical terminology or certain
Yes.
phraseology, whatever else.
It's complexities that I don't actually understand.
The last part of this question
And
before
I
we wrap
can't
up
actually navigate that.
is, I mean, look, cards, like I said, can help you, and I'll try that for you. We'll
Yep.
experiment it out. You've obviously recognised that giving you the look or tapping you hate. I appreciate that. I respect that. I understand that. So we'll not do that. We're not going
That
to use
makes
the
me wanna
clock
punch
method
you.
because... Thank you. I appreciate that. Don't punch me. We're not going to do the clock
In my
method
head, I
because
do.
the clock method probably distresses you or
God
distracts you and won't help you. So if I wasn't there,
Yes.
is there a solution independently if you're having maybe a social conversation with a neighbour and you get caught up in your special interests and you deviate and you then bring in episodic memories of such great detail and they're very entertaining, and you're missing out because of your lexiphonia. You don't recognise the body language or the facial features of the other
but
person
you know
giving you
what?
indications.
I always used to think,
Yeah.
and now I'm questioning. I'm having
Your
an
question.
existential...
We're having an existential crisis here, right now, on TV. I'm so
no,
sorry.
Right, I'm going to say
Yes,
this.
this is very close up and personal.
I'm going to say this.
Right, go.
Maybe I don't want to be part of the world.
Part of
You know how I said to you, I
world.
love that song because I feel
From the
part of the
Little
world,
Mermaid, yeah.
and I never used to feel part of the world.
Right.
Right? Because I was a silent observer, always on the sidelines,
Yeah.
never part of it, and
Right.
people stopped trying to even make me part of it, except for the few people.
Sure.
But I just want to say,
Yeah.
remember how I said to you, I miss being part of my own world and
Yeah.
not being out of
Yep,
that world
I do.
at all.
I get
That I
you.
actually do miss that.
Right.
And that I actually wonder, is it really we're bringing us autists, are you really bringing us autistics out of our own world for our sake or their
For
sake?
their
Because
sake.
I'm actually questioning
Are you
whether
meeting
I'm
them
really,
where
really going to be happy
They're at.
doing that kind of stuff, which is
Are they
like,
meeting you where you're at?
that just doesn't sound like it's something that is enjoyable to me.
So it sounds, first of all,
However,
not enjoyable, but
that
stressful.
doesn't mean that I'm a selfish person that only want to talk about me and my stories. If
No.
I was sitting with someone and they said, "Oh, and I have this story," I want to hear it.
Right.
I want to hear other people's special interests, even
Okay.
if it's completely different. I'm into planes.
Sure.
So if they say they're into trains,
Yeah.
well, tell me more.
Okay.
Because that doesn't have to be exactly the same.
Do you notice something, though, which I've
So
noticed?
maybe I don't want to be part of their world.
Here's one other thing I'm going to put out to you.
That's really
I've
sad.
noticed that in some of your friendships over the years, it's become the 80-20 rule. Remember what I've said about that?
Because I only could keep a friend by listening.
And 80% of the time, they would saturate the conversation. And you've learned
Because
that
if I didn't listen,
if you didn't
why
shut
would they want
up,
to be my
if you
friend?
didn't just sit there and be there to be the sounding board to their needs, which means your needs are not
I
getting
wouldn't have
met,
had a friend.
you would lose friends.
That's how I
So
had
this-
friends, even
Right.
the minimal friends I had at school.
So that's why we've discovered that
Being a
that's been
follower.
the observant,
Following.
anecdotally, 80-20 rule is
Copying.
that's what you have been doing to survive, to maintain friendships over the years.
But it doesn't give me fulfillment.
You don't get joy. So is there another way of doing this? Because we're having a conversation.
That's why I do this channel and I love the connections, but I feel like if I was friends with everyone one-on-one, that I would feel like I'm going to offend them because I'm so in my own head.
And you're in your special
And
interests.
I don't want
You'll
people
go off
to
on
feel like
tangents.
I'm ignoring them, which
It's
if
not
I,
purposeful.
But what if I did?
You're not mean.
No, but what if I did?
You
and
don't want to hurt
I
someone.
think that I actually stay away from people because of that.
Right. So that's interesting discovery, to be self-aware of what it is that you've
Because I
been
know
doing
that
and
they're
why.
not going to like it.
Okay.
And I don't blame them. Theoretically, look at it. Putting up with someone like me,
It's
the
not-
way my brain
it's not
only
putting up with you.
operates, and because I can't change it and I'm 51
Mm.
and mentally 18, but 51, I've had 51 years of experience. I should know better. I should be able to change that, and I can't.
But you're
So
expecting to
basically,
undo your autism.
Why would I want to why would I want to put them through that? They don't want that.
Honey, I've known you for how long?
34 years or so.
Right, I'm still in here and I love it. I love who you are as an individual and your style of communication. And I love hearing your anecdotes and your stories. And we have great conversations and we also have very good equal
Yeah,
conversations
but I
and we're
discovered
fulfilling.
this week that women expire at 25.
No, they don't, darling. That is also another misnomer, okay? Women and men never expire.
I don't know.
We all
why
just
they
all
say
get-
that.
Because it's an awkwardness of social life that you feel. There's so much things put onto aesthetics that's unnecessary.
It's a bit sad.
It's actually very sad. It's actually very sad for females to have to feel like that leads to body issues and the need to
People
do
put
changes.
injections in them and
Absolutely.
it's
Plastic
sad
surgery and all
because
those things.
People all have their unique prettiness.
Everybody has their own unique
And
prettiness.
handsomeness.
Absolutely, they do.
And I
we
believe
should
that.
all
And it's
grasp
not about that.
our own
It's
sense
about
of identity.
how someone makes you feel
But my
and
point,
how you make them
bingo.
feel.
So that's great that you've turned that around and understood that. And my point by saying I've known you for 34 years is
What?
you can have a successful, long-term, engaged, interactive relationship quite successfully when you find people who click. Along the way, you've actually identified this yourself. You get on better with
there's a lot of
males rather
people-
than females.
No, but there's also
Why
a
is
lot
that?
of people that have, it's only been really due to moving around. There's a lot of people that have been very kind to me
Yeah.
and, friends with me, but just
Maybe they're the calming influences, the ones that are patient, the
Yeah,
ones
they
that show
are.
tolerance,
They
that show
are.
care, compassion, and
and
consideration.
because of that, they get to see the true me,
Mm-hmm.
and I make them giggle, which used to make me happy. And sometimes I would give them, DIY ideas because I'm so,
Sure, you
like,
reciprocate.
but I
assist.
talk about things that are like, organizational things because of my executive functioning. I got into a hyper focus of organization. That's why my house is like it is.
Another special
because
interest.
It came out of the necessity of I can't do my executive functioning. I need to zone my
Sure.
house. I need to design my house to suit.
Can you come
my
back
brain.
and answer the question I've just posed for you now? one of the things I've identified is that you do really well talking to males. You enjoy that
Yes,
sometimes
I
more than
do.
females. Why is that? Because I just want to try and understand and help share that understanding.
Everything's very, like, explicit and
So
clear.
it's a style of communication.
And they
technical,
talk about, like, really
factual,
cool stuff.
Things that are
like factual stuff.
things that are
Whereas
in your special
girls like
interest.
to talk about kind of fantasy stuff, and gossip is not my thing.
So, okay, gossip's a big one. You hate gossip.
Yeah, because I get hurt because someone's getting hurt.
Right,
in
you
gossip.
hate other people being
I
hurt.
don't want that because it's a social injustice and that's uncomfortable.
Okay.
And then they have rules that I never understand, and I know I'm going to fail at it, so there's no point in me trying. So I'd rather talk to the guys because they're clear and concise and honest.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that they all are. This is stereotyping.
You're just stereotyping. That's okay. You're generalizing is what you're doing.
People that are males that I let into my inner circle is people that, and they talk about intelligent things, which I think
so
is
you'll
awesome.
have success when you match the things that work for you. So if you find things that are not gossipy or bitchy, but in fact are actually intelligent and are on that technical level, then, and whether it's male or female, females can do that just as well as males.
I need input and learning daily.
Right.
Otherwise, I feel like
that's where you'll have success.
Taking that vitamin.
And if you find people who are consuming your time 80-20, then that's not going to be successful for you. It's a bit like boundaries.
And that's what I'm saying.
Boundaries
I tried
work both
that,
ways.
and I fit in, but was I happy? No.
No. And
was I being myself? No.
And you don't want to mask, do you?
I was not being
You want to be accepted for who you are.
Being me.
A person with autism and some challenges.
Being myself. I was being very, very passive.
And if you're going to mask, you're never going to be yourself.
Well, that stopped a long time ago.
Right. And
except for a little bit on the channel because, when you're vlogging, you always do have to show things and explain things, and sometimes that comes across as performative, but it's not.
Yep.
Like, I've even had that reassurance, which is actually good because I want you guys to see the authentic me. But I've had some of my carers actually say to me, "You're just the same
in real life."
And they spent 8 hours a day with some of them with me.
Yeah.
And they're like, "You guys are just the same as what I see when I watch your channel."
What you get. We are raw and authentic,
that is
exactly
what
as we are. Exactly.
And
no airs,
and
no
I appreciate
graces.
them saying that because if I'm not being authentic, I'd be mad at myself.
And I think if people
I pride myself on that.
People see you and they go, "I like what I see," that's seeing the authentic Dyan. I think if they were to see the mask or you just being quiet and being submissive,
like me.
Then you're also not getting a good true connection.
Superficial or a little bit up myself.
Which you're not. You're so down to earth. You're so genuine and you're so caring.
I've sometimes had to mask with certain things, and coming from the family I have, the types of masking isn't healthy. But basically, I'm just saying, like, you might not have liked me, and I would have agreed with you because I didn't like how I was, like, acting. I liked who I was as a person. I was still looking after others. I was still doing service. I was still heavily invested in give, and I pride myself on that, and I enjoy that. That's where I'm happy. But I wasn't myself as in the way I would act in front of other people.
I think tonight's conversation has been very helpful as an insight.
I wish I was more myself in front of my children.
That's okay as well. But that sometimes we have to act as a parent in front of our children. We protect them from certain
like
things
any
in
other
life
disabled parent, I should have been an honest autistic parent.
We were trying to protect them.
Autism back then was not seen as trendy.
No, exactly.
And I'm not saying it's trendy.
Awkward or difficult.
I'm just saying people are more accepting of it now.
I get that. So today's conversation has been very useful to provide insights of a real, true, authentic, classic autistic.
I've learned a lot.
A person who's actually struggled with communication, which is where we originally started with it.
And I've learned a lot.
Where you have a lot of episodic thoughts and processes in your memories coming through.
And the Gestalt stuff just makes a lot of sense.
Gestalt language processing.
I really think
with echolalia.
That's held me back.
Emotional thoughts.
And I can really see, and it actually is really sad because like I can see like a flood of conversations
Yeah.
that went wrong
Right.
and caused me to be bullied because of taking one phrase or word
Yep.
and going into a full story and thinking, oh, I'm sharing this amazing story. I'm contributing socially. They begged me to talk for 11 years.
Yeah.
Here I am doing it, and now I'm
Correct.
being punished.
For doing that exact same thing.
Confused, and
It's
I
very
used to
conflicting,
feel
isn't it?
ashamed of myself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, looking back now, I see why it was annoying. Not saying their responses were justified
Or appropriate.
really.
No, they're not.
But like, I'm saying that I can see how irritating that would be.
I absolutely adore you, and I think you're a most beautiful person.
I got
honestly,
a lot of things wrong.
as who you are. But that's okay. By getting things wrong, we learn, and we only grow by learning. It's about the people around us.
They must have thought I was so selfish and so self-engrossed.
But then they should have also been able to clearly identify that you're autistic. You're different, not less. You're you. And the intent is clearly there. You do no harm. You're genuinely enthusiastic and engaged, and you're just trying your hardest at all times.
I always do.
You always do. I can see
My
that.
Uncle Ray really made that like a real motivator in my, like a fire in my belly. I don't know
brilliant.
how he did it.
Because he's autistic too. He knows the challenges.
That was just, he said to me, you know, you're one of the special ones. And I still don't know what that means. But
Because
I just
you are
know
special.
that the lessons he learnt me have always got me somewhere.
Great.
And he always would say to me, you know, like, if I wasn't doing my best, he pushed me towards doing my best. And that's why
Your best
my
is
life
good enough.
is always, even if it's like now, you might be saying, oh, you know, how do you see any success in your life? I do see success in my
Huge.
life,
You are
even when I'm
worthy.
at kind of the worst part of my life at the moment to date. But the reason is because I have this channel, and it's thanks to you guys too.
But that starts
that
with
I've
you.
made it to this point, because you're the ones that have hit subscribe. And basically, you know, I just didn't want to sit here and just give up. I wanted to make something of it.
And use your
that's what he
superpowers
made me do.
for good, honey. You
Because
are a superhero
I felt
by doing
like
that.
giving up, because when you're a child and you just get everything wrong because you're autistic, and everything you do and say
Must be so
and everything
frustrating.
you try and do is wrong, and you're constantly being taught, and you watch the other kids not have to be taught, you just start to feel really like, I just quit, I quit.
It's very hard.
And I used to be very still.
I get
and I
that.
did have moments of quitting.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that my uncle brought me through to the point where he said, go forth, as if
And
like there is
conquer.
no
Go
limit.
west, young lady.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And you know, I'm so proud of you for doing that. You have so much to offer. You provide not only entertainment
know
and
he'd be
joy
proud
to
of me.
others through that which you give, but you also help to educate and to inform, to provide information that people may not be aware, whether they've got autism themselves and how to cope in life, whether they're a parent of a child that's got autism, or simply a friend or a relative or a person who's in a partnership with someone.
helping.
And you do it so well.
That's my goal.
That is your service, and that's
all
what
I
you
have
provide.
to offer now.
But I hope today's conversation's also been insightful to you as we break these things apart, because we
I
do
hope
these
so.
in real for you to learn and for others to see you go through that learning process to identify what's happening.
Conversations, so we're just including you. Because,
Exactly.
You
It's
know,
in real time.
It's not that we haven't been showing you real content. It's just that we're getting to the point where we're, I guess, evolving as vloggers, and we're realizing sometimes you've got to do it in the moment.
And sometimes if the moment's right, I'll
not
take
talk
you
about
into
it
very
after the
deep
moment.
and intellectual areas and try and help you to discover components that are aspects of how it all joins together. What's your key takeaway from tonight? What have you learned?
I feel grateful that I now understand my lifelong problem at 51.
Okay. It's
Kind of
never too
frustrating
old to learn
it
why,
so late.
but now you have.
Also, I feel a flood of memories of people getting frustrated at me, and now I understand why, but it still hurts because it's like
Allow that moment to go and acknowledge that.
I really was made to feel bad about myself for getting it wrong in this way and going into stories and not realizing that's not normal.
But it's so normal for your style of learning and who you are as a person with autism, with Gestalt language learning style, with episodic memory, with
But the special ed
echolalia
teachers used to
in that
encourage
process.
it too.
Correct, because it's a
sometimes.
style of learning. And look, with the
Yeah.
Gestalt language processing, it's commonly seen in neurodivergent, whether it's ADHD or autism. It can be seen in children outside of it. It's also a style of learning for those that might have learning difficulties. But it was
it's
natural
exhausting
to you.
because, you know, I have so many vivid memories in my head that, you know,
Vivid, didactic,
and it's
accurate.
schemas.
They are schemas.
When you say a word to me,
Yep, it's association.
I can give you a story. You say we can sit around a campfire,
But that's how
for
you.
hours,
That's
and
how
you
your
can just
filing
say to me,
system.
I'm going to give you a word. Give me another story.
But that's how it works.
I've got a genuine
And
story
that's how you've learned.
behind it.
And they are the building blocks of cyclical learning
That's
for
how I have
yourself.
friends.
How you've brought information together. And that's how you also store and retrieve information by association. And that's important to learn because by doing so, it helps you to unlock the understanding of your learning curve. And like you said, that's how you've dealt with friends.
So it still kind of shows that trying to have a back and forth relationship right now at 51 is the reason why I'm still not getting it right.
But you know what I'm also going to say? I've been saying this for a while.
That's a long time.
You know, there's 16 different.
years to try and learn that.
There's first
and
of
I'm
all,
not succeeding.
hold on. So let me explain. First of all, there's 16 different personality types. Then there's genders. Then
I'm
there's
the rare
the
one,
socioeconomic or the
J something.
where they've come from. Okay, their cultural components. Then there's other factors, whether it's disabilities or autism or whatever else. There's so many different variables that come into play. When you match, and like I said, if you do really well with talking to guys, what is it about that? Oh, it's the intellectual, it's the special interests, it's staying away from bitching and being negative on other people or gossiping.
Yes.
So you've worked out what doesn't work for you. You've worked out what does work for you. All you have to do is work to your strengths. Connect with those sort of people that bring you joy but don't drain you, and you'll have success. And the other people will also gain from that because it's a perfect match. That's all we're trying to do is work out what matches for you. I hope you've gained something from tonight, and I hope the people at home watching have also found it interesting and insightful and maybe learnt themselves.
Epiphany.
I like epiphanies. Guys, give Dyan a big thumbs up of encouragement as we go through these. These are very raw. These are totally non-scripted. These are just thought of in real time as we're going through real life
Younger
lessons.
autistics are so lucky.
Yeah.
Because, like, not only were we not given the name autism, we had other names given to us, which you wouldn't like.
Some of those not so pleasant to you.
So, but you know what? I just think that the power that you guys have in your hands and how empowering that's going to be, use it.
And I think you should use your learning of what you've been through to help those, whether they are children growing up and developing,
because it's too late for me.
to the parents. No, it's never too late. Because you know
being
what?
aware is the first. Don't
First
they say
step.
the first step is being aware that there's a problem?
And now that you've done that and worked out what the causation is, now you've also got some solutions
but what if
that
I
might
sit
help.
there now and I'm like, oh, sorry guys, I've kind of lost all my stories because I've been training my brain out of it.
No, you see, there's a time and a place. So for YouTube, that's the perfect place.
Rules that I have to learn.
A before E, except after C, and the 26
What's these
variations.
unsaid rules? Go away.
For YouTube, all your stories are welcome. But in other engagements, one-on-one or maybe in groups, you might need to think about ways that you need to keep on track, focused, maybe write down dot points when you're in meetings. What is it that I need to say? What's the main points?
I don't know.
What's turn taking like?
I don't even know.
What signs and indications are there to be aware of other people's behaviour?
I need to know what is this meeting allowed, what's the rules of the meeting.
Correct.
You know, when you go and start a new course
Yeah.
and they do a big thing of we're going to do
Yep.
rules.
Yep.
I need that for every meeting, but by the time we do that, everyone's going to
Meeting's
go,
over.
The meeting's over, I'm going.
So sometimes we can do things preemptively beforehand. You might be able to send an email for a meeting and say, these are the things I'd like to cover. These are the most important things I
Boys.
need to do. And at least you can have a bit of a focus. Gives you a chance to also break some things apart to actually work out what your answers or responses or what your needs are. So there are strategies. You have to do things differently.
Unless you're working with another neurodivergent person and then they take you off your list and you're like,
Yeah.
that was a fun conversation.
Exactly.
But now we're lacking the list.
That's the cats playing
And I
around.
haven't finished this. That was the boys playing.
Right. We've got to go, but thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you've got comments,
And if
questions,
you've got
ideas, or
autism,
suggestions, leave it below as well.
Think about this and share it with your autistic friends, because this is a big one for us autistics, and the sooner you know, the better.
Indeed. Thanks
I'm
for watching,
51.
guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.